Welcome to another episode of the Miami Comedy Podcast. I'm Manny Garavito, and now that spring break is behind us, there may be a lot of people out there that are considering making the big move to Miami, and I dedicate this video to you. Here are top 10 things you should do within the first 24 hours to survive and thrive in Miami. First things first, you got to take a crash course in Spanglish. Go on YouTube, go on Urban Dictionary, talk to your Latino friend, but you must learn the essentials of this forbidden language. Now, what is Spanglish exactly? I don't know either, but for some reason, we get by. It's a combination of Spanish and English that just doesn't make sense. You can pick and choose from what words you want to use from either language, but you gotta have the timing and the dramatization correctly in order for it to be effective in our city. And you also want to order the right food with the right kind of accent, because if you order something off the menu and it doesn't have the right pronunciation, it's either not going to get cooked well or you're going to get a service charge that's way higher than what it should be. Second thing you have to do within the first 24 hours of moving to Miami is you got to learn how to spot the tourists. You got to study them. You got to know how not to be the ops. You see, the thing is, a lot of people have moved into our city. We know what you're up to. You're coming here with your old school values and your culture and wherever you're coming from. We don't get along with people that are different from us. And if you're different, if you come off like you're from somewhere else, believe me, most of your opinions are going to be invalid. Most of the conversations you're going to try to embark in are going to be boring to us. We just won't see you as someone we can get along with just because we know you recently moved here. And there's a lot of reasons to this. The first one is, you're different. That's already like weird. But it's also because you're raising the rent. You're coming in here, you're clogging up the streets. Coming in here, you're raising the prices. And so we put all these things and we add it to your identity as soon as we spot a tourist. So just come here like you're an undercover agent. Try not to stand out so much. The next one is very interesting. You gotta find your local Cafecito spot. You gotta find a ventanita or a local bakery that's gonna give you the caffeine you need in order to survive in our city. There's a reason why we mix very concentrated caffeine with lots of sugar. We put so much sugar in our coffee that if you were to spill it and let it dry, the stickiness will be more effective than super glue, because we need to go out there and we need to be wired to thrive and survive in Miami. And the best thing about having your local Cafecito spot is that it allows you to acclimate on how powerful our caffeine is. You think you know coffee just because you went to a Starbucks and you asked for a double espresso? Wait until you try the coffee here in Miami. You need to start getting your body used to that. The next thing you gotta do within the first 24 hours as soon as you move into Miami is you gotta shop for promoters. And I'm not talking about just going to some guy that says he can get you a VIP table at some random nightclub. I'm talking about really checking out all the personalities, seeing all the kinds of hookups, and seeing the kinds of people that this promoter brings out. And once you find the right promoter, you stick with that promoter and you stay faithful to that promoter, because that promoter is gonna base the relationship and how well you're gonna get hooked up based on your reputation and your social points. Meaning, if you make the party lit, social points. If you bring ladies, lots of social points. If you pitch in on the bottle, extra social points. And the more you accumulate these social points, the more lit the party will be. But you gotta make sure you build that resume with that one promoter as soon as you can so you can get there. Next up, you gotta go to all the neighborhoods of Miami and you gotta pick your favorite restaurant, your favorite nightclub, and your favorite bar. That's one really good way to blend in. If someone says, hey, meet me in Brickell, what do you wanna do? You know exactly what to say. Hey, let's have dinner. I'm over in Wynwood. You know exactly what place you're gonna eat. Hey, I'm in Coral Gables. What's the best happy hour? You know exactly what the best happy hour is. So take out your notepad on your phone or write it down on a cocktail napkin and just start writing all the hot spots in every particular neighborhood so that you know exactly where to go if you ever find yourself there. And for bonus points, have a go-to drink. Because if you go to a bar and it's busy and you don't know what to order immediately, that bartender's not gonna give you any attention for another hour. So you gotta get that order in as soon as possible. The next one is pretty simple, but it's easier said than done. You gotta find good insurance. And I'm not just talking about any kind of insurance. I'm talking about insurance that's gonna help you in case shit hits the fan in our city. And it will, okay? So make sure you got health insurance, make sure you've got car collision insurance, and make sure, most importantly, you got flood insurance. You gotta insure everything in the city, and the reason why is because everything that you think might go wrong will go wrong. Worst case scenario is very plausible in the city, so make sure you're insured. If you just moved to Miami, you gotta make sure you understand the flow of Miami time. People arrive fashionably late, and it's simply because they're trying to communicate that they're doing more important things than what they committed to do. And it's not necessarily true or actually happening, but the imagination of it happening is what people are trying to communicate when they arrive late, AKA Miami time. You see, when someone makes plans in Miami and they tell you a certain time, you got to add a good 15 to 25 plus minutes to that, because what they're going to do is they want to put a nice little window, a nice little cushion for them to let you know that even though they're aware that they made these plans with you, they also need to let you know that they're better than you because they were probably on a yacht. They were probably doing donuts in a car with someone else. They were probably getting some sort of action in the parking lot of a Brickell apartment building. You don't know. You don't ask questions. You just accept the fact that they're late, and that's that. The next thing you have to do as soon as you land in Miami within the first 24 hours is you have to throw away all the cold weather clothes that you actually flew in with. That means all your sweaters, all your hoodies, all your nice leather jackets. You got to throw them all away, because if you're walking around our city and it looks like you brought that from another state, we can tell. There's a lot of people walking up and down Brickell wearing very fancy, warm clothes that we know they didn't buy in our city, because the people in Miami, the majority, have one good sweater that they probably don't even fit in anymore. And when they check their pockets, it was like a savings account. They find $20 in there they forgot about. We don't have sweaters here. And if we do, they're all messed up and dirty, and we're not proud of our warm clothes. So go to a Goodwill, find one good jacket, one good sweater, one good hoodie, and you're gonna ride it out as long as you possibly can. The next thing you have to do within the first 24 hours of coming to Miami is you gotta find a good lawyer for just about everything. And I mean everything. From car crashes to people that will fight tickets, even DUIs for you. You need somebody that can fight real estate people for you. You need somebody that can defend you from scammers. You need somebody that can defend you from cryptocurrency scams. You're going to have to find someone that's going to defend you from someone that steals all your money if they claim to be an accountant. You got to find all that. You got to have a nice folder full of numbers of attorneys that specialize in one particular thing, because you're going to need them one day. Last but not least, you got to start a side hustle. You got to do something to get some extra income in your life, whatever it may be, whether it's selling real estate, whether it's getting into crypto, whether it's selling insurance, whether it's starting a t-shirt business. It doesn't matter. Just get into something that gives you a little bit of extra money, because one source of income is not enough. I'd recommend 3 to 4 sources of income, one to pay off your bills, one to pay yourself, and the other 2 just in case the prices go up again, because it is extremely expensive to live in this city. But if you know how to market a business, if you know how to make yourself an influencer or someone that sells Herbalife or even OnlyFans, I mean, whatever it takes, you got to come to Miami with different sources of incomes, because it's not going to be easy if you just depend on a 9-to-5. That is it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this list. I hope it doesn't come off too threatening. These are just a couple of things that you should consider doing within the first day as soon as you land in Miami, so that the second day you're already considered a local. Make sure you guys follow the podcast for more episodes like this, and I'll see you on the next episode.